I find myself being a little bit frustrated that I'm a creative person who doesn't ever do anything creative. This video is just going to be me experiencing creativity and trying to create more than I consume. And I am fully aware that I'm addicted to my phone. I know what I'm doing is wasting time. I have decided to put my foot down and say I'm going to do something this month that I've not done before, which I probably did when I was a kid, which is do something creative every single day. Growing up, I was always doing something creative. My mum had so many activities for us. And yes, I'm an artist. Yes, I'm a photographer, and I'm a singer, and I'm a songwriter, and I love making collages and scrapbooking and things like that. And I do occasionally still do that. But I want to just test my limitations this month. I want to do a 31-day challenge where I do something creative every single day. I've come up with 31 things that I can do every day, and I'm gonna start each thing. I'm gonna do these things because they're things, some of them I've never done before, so that will be a bit interesting. However, I don't want to set too many rules. I did this painting recently and another one that I can insert here. And that was an amazing creative weekend where I hardly went on my phone and I really felt refreshed, because we're not meant to look at everybody else's life. We're watching strangers' lives. We're scrolling through different lives every 2 seconds, and that's not normal. We are meant to be present in our own lives. We're meant to be creative. And even if you don't think you're an artist, like, we're all meant to be creative. We were created by God to be creative. At the moment, I don't have a lot of work, so I have a bit more time. If you want to try a challenge like this, do it how you want to do it. I'm not gonna tell anyone how to do anything, but I hope that some of these things that I do this month in this video are gonna be inspiring for you. And obviously, I'm also just a creative person, so I might end up doing different things. And yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. I have no idea. Like, I also do a lot of gardening these days, so maybe I'll do something more in the garden. But I'm just really excited to do something that's not me sitting on my butt, watching other people's lives go by, and then going to bed feeling very upset with myself, which happens a lot of the time. The thing with art is that you just have to do it, even when you're not sure about the colour. Oh my gosh, I don't know how I feel about this. Okay. Oh, this is not what I wanted to do. The whole point of using a black canvas is that you keep the black somewhat visible. I really wanted to paint northern lights with this black canvas. That's kind of why I bought it, or I thought maybe a nighttime skyscape or something, but I found it really difficult to do this with acrylics because it's usually easier to blend oil paint, but I don't have oil paint. This canvas smelt so bad. I don't know what it was. It smelled like musty and moldy. I don't even know. It just smelled really off. It kind of smelled like dirt, actually. So you can see I was trying to blend everything together, but in the end, the result was like very faint colours. So I really probably need to go over it again, but I've left it for like the good majority of the month now. So I'm just gonna probably leave it, maybe add some stars. But yeah, as you can see, I kind of didn't really think about what I was doing. I was a little bit perplexed with how it really didn't want to blend, and I definitely know that painting with oils would be better, but oil paint requires white spirit and you need a lot more of an art studio space, I feel like, where you can air it, and this is actually in my bedroom, so I don't think I'm gonna paint with oil paints and white spirit in my bedroom where I'm gonna be breathing in the fumes. because that is not healthy. Personally, I do a lot better making art that is abstract. I struggled for a long time with painting after I left school because I did art at school, and I realised that I had to always do something that somebody else wanted me to do, whereas now I had freedom to do whatever I wanted. However, it took me a long time to realise that I don't need to paint naturescapes, I don't need to paint people, I can paint whatever I like, and so for a long time I've been doing abstract now. However, occasionally I do really want to just also paint a naturescape, and sometimes it works really well and sometimes it doesn't. And that's the whole point of being an artist, is being okay with the failures, being okay if it doesn't look like you intended it to, because the whole point anyway of this particular project is just to be creative, and sometimes it'll be worthy of hanging on the wall and sometimes it won't, and that's okay. So my neighbour brought all these apples over from the tree and I need to make something with them. So this, I think, counts as being creative. I'm going to bake something. I love to bake, I don't do it enough, and it's not going to be anything gourmet or extremely extravagant, but I'm gonna make an apple crumble. I hope I have all the ingredients, and if I don't, then I'll have to be creative. I love this Delia Smith cookbook, and I don't use it enough, and my mother wanted to have it back, so I actually took photos of all the recipes and now I have to use them from my phone. But this apple and raisin crumble recipe is so good, and it's so delightfully simple, and I feel like sometimes we're looking for all these new recipes and stuff, but sometimes it's actually just the old stuff that just works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I have peeled so many apples this month. I don't know what was in the air, but it was like an apple month, as you will see in the rest of this video. I have peeled so many and made all kinds of apple things, and as I'm recording this voiceover at the end of August, I got another entire shopping bag full of apples from my neighbour, so I'm gonna have to make more apple themed things. But it is really therapeutic to just be in the kitchen making things, especially when you know that it's come straight from the tree next door. Recently I've been remembering that it's really important for us to use our hands for things, and in this digital world I think a lot of the time we forget that it's actually really therapeutic and really good for our brain to be using our hands to make things and to feel the dirt beneath our fingers and to get a little bit messy. We're in this pristine, clean world, and sometimes actually it's really good to just get really messy and make something with our own hands. I also still have all of these apple cores and bits, and I'm just going to try and make some juice, because why not? It's almost 10 p.m, but I just let all this apple juice cook for a while and I'm quite excited. So I'm going to strain it for the second time, put some ice in here because I don't want the glass to crack because this is still quite warm. I made my own apple juice. I have no idea if it's going to taste good. That is good. I mean, it doesn't taste like shop apple juice. That is really good. Oh my days! I can't believe it. Yep. Nice. Just like, this is day 2, and I'm learning now that creativity is so, the spectrum is so broad. I can be creative by making a cake that I've made before, or a crumble that I've made before, or I can suddenly think about another idea, which is using apple scraps to make apple juice. Like, to me that seems pretty creative. And I've got this list of stuff that I wrote down in case I run out of ideas, but honestly I'm already loving just going with the flow of this and just seeing what happens. It is Sunday. It is day 3 of my creative challenge thing. It is 9 o'clock and I've not done loads today, but I've had people here all week. So I've been busy. I only worked twice this week, but I've been busy just with people, and we've had 6 people in the house instead of 3. And today I made a delicious brisket, slow cooked for hours. But honestly, I'm so tired now that I don't know if I'm going to do any creative stuff. I might do a bit more of my paint by numbers. A lot of my evenings since I started that last week have just been paint by numbers, because it's a good way to get some sort of energy out and to do something creative without really thinking about it, because there's no way I would want to go and do a creative project right now. So yeah, I might do paint by numbers, but I might also just go to sleep because I'm exhausted. And that is okay. That is okay. I spent time cooking today. I made a crumble last night. I made apple juice last night. It's only day 3. I'm still going to do loads of amazing creative things this month, and we have to give ourselves grace. So that is what I'm doing.
Where they camped before crossing over. After 3 days, the officers went throughout the camp giving orders to the people. When you see the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord your God and the Levitical priests carrying it, you are to move out from your...
One thing that I have always been is really thrifty. So I knew that I needed a bottle for the juice that I'd made, and I thought, well, I've got a lemonade bottle, let me take the label off of that and then paint it. This was super easy to do as well. I've had these pens for no lie, probably 15 years, and I have used them maybe once. Some of them were still in their original cellophane packaging. So I decided, let me just write fresh juice on this bottle, and I kept almost writing lemonade instead, which isn't what was in the bottle at the end. Oh yeah, okay. That is good. I think I'm gonna bake something because I got leftover baguette, and so I'm going to make bread and butter pudding. Bread and butter pudding is one of my favourite ways to use up old dry bread. I had this baguette and I had some other bits of bread as well, and it's just so easy to make. All you do is mix milk and cream and some raisins and some dried candied orange and mix it with some egg and bake it in the oven, and then you eat it warm with custard, which is so delightful. I absolutely love it, and it's so simple. On day 5, I ended up spontaneously going to Brighton with my friend, and the only creative thing I guess I did was pick up a couple of rocks and shells and take some lovely photos of the beach. So sometimes it really is that simple, and it is the summer after all, so I was really glad that we got to go to Brighton together. Right, I'll be real. It is 9:30 p.m. and I do not feel like doing anything creative today because I've been updating my CV. So that also needed doing, and I did meal prep earlier, and it was a pretty uneventful day because I went to work and had a big break between waitressing and then went back, and I was really tired, and now I've just been working on updating my CV because I don't want to be a waitress forever. So yeah, I'm just updating it with all of my recent experience and making 2 types of CVs for different types of jobs, and that is what I'm doing tonight, and it's 9:30 and I want to go to bed. So reality check, sometimes we don't have time to be creative, but tomorrow's a new day. I'm keeping it real simple today. Today I also don't have loads of time, but what I did have was loads of apples, and they need using up, and it is me being creative in the ways that I use them up. Peeled them, chopped them, caramelized some sugar, mixed them up with sugar and apple juice, and ended up with this. Now I just need to stamp with a potato masher, and then I'm going to put them into some jars to make apple puree or apple sauce or apfelmus or whatever you want to call it. I was going to put the oven on and sterilize the jars that I have, but I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to do that tomorrow. So I'm just going to make the applesauce into an applesauce, put it into some kind of container, and then do the rest tomorrow, because I have to take a train soon, and I'm usually always late for this train every Thursday. So today I'm trying to be ready and not be late. I'm not going to be able to preserve any of this because I'm going to eat it all. You've got to start making your own stuff, guys. Honestly, my life has changed. So I did actually just put this in boiling water for a few minutes, and it's nice and hot now, and I'm thinking it's probably sterilized enough. This is probably not the way to do it if you want to actually preserve something. But seeing as I've just eaten so much of it already, I know this is not going to last me much longer than a week. This is so German of me. I just eat it out of the jar. When I used to get it at the shops in Germany, I would just eat it out of the jar. Like, it's just that good. I'm ready for my homestead life. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm so ready to have a farm and have lots of fruit and all the stuff. I'm so ready. I found this IKEA bowl at a charity shop for £1, and I thought either I can keep it as a plain bowl or no, oh my goodness, I could paint it. So obviously I was like, okay, great, I've got the pens. I spent ages Googling whether you can actually use these pens for ceramics, because on the packet it's not very clear, and it says you can use it on glass and it says you can use it on wood and stuff like that, but it didn't say anything about ceramics, even though there was a picture on that packet of the pens with the paint on ceramics. But at the end of the day, I just decided to make this decorative bowl. It cost me £1, so you know, it's fine if it doesn't work out. And then I ended up having an absolute nightmare because there was some leftover of the light blue on my newspaper, and it ended up staining the bottom of the bowl. And so I thought, okay, let me just actually paint the whole of the bottom of the bowl. I didn't have a paintbrush downstairs with me. I didn't have a sponge or anything. I just ended up having a weird moment where I thought that it would work, that I could paint the entirety of the bottom of the bowl with a pen. And then I realised I've made a massive mistake. And Annie was sitting next to me the whole time, and she said, why don't you go and quickly wash it off before it sets? And it worked, but it didn't come off of my hands. So then my hands were absolutely covered in this light blue paint. So then I turned over the newspaper and tried again, and decided only to do the inside of the bowl, and then actually had a really lovely result at the end. It was a little bit of a typical Christina moment, to be perfectly honest, because I do these things sometimes. I realise that something's gone wrong and then I try and fix it, and then it goes even worse. So I now have this gorgeous little bowl. I did also put it in the oven to try and glaze it for a bit. However, it didn't really work because I ate some yogurt out of the bowl and I ate some salad out of the bowl, and both utensils, the fork and the spoon, made the paint scratch away. So I'm a bit sad because I think I can only use this bowl for things like crisps and sweets and not for utensils. So that's a bit sad. But I'm obsessed with the little pattern that I made, and I think that I'm going to do that again with proper porcelain paints at some point as well. Now, if you're confused about why this says day 10, that's because on day 9 I did not do anything creative except host a barbecue in my garden, which is why there's a bit of stuff lying around in this particular shot. And honestly, I was really tired after that barbecue. And then for some reason my body decided to wake up at 7:30 a.m. So I was just resting that morning, enjoying the silence, which I don't usually get in my garden on a weekday at that time, because there's building works going on and there's just a lot more traffic. So having a 7:30 a.m. start on a Sunday, this is one of my favorite core memories of this summer, was waking up this early, having the silence, sitting having my coffee in the sun. It was like absolute bliss. Yeah, so I hosted a barbecue the day before, and I didn't really take any photos, especially no videos, because I just wanted to be present with my friends, and it was a really lovely day. So I really made up for it though, to be honest, because I did quite a few things on the rest of this day. I ended up making a mobile out of disco balls, and I ended up doing things in the garden as well, like making 2 trellises, one for my rose plant and one for my tomato plant as well. So really, on the days when I don't do anything creative or don't really do much, I make up for it on the days where I end up doing 3 or 4 things. When I was in Brighton, I found the sweetest shop called Snooper's Paradise. It's absolutely massive, and it's filled with all the vintage paraphernalia that you could possibly need or not need. And I found these 2 little bags of scrapbooking bits, which smelt like grandma's house in the best way possible. They smelt so vintage. And it was all these cards that I thought would be really handy for card making. The cards were written in already, and they had little greetings, and there was some things that I could probably use, and there were some things that I find are so historic that I'm not sure I'm going to be able to use them, because I find it really difficult to cut old historic things up and use them for new modern purposes. This one is a bit melancholy. It is a New Year card for someone at war. I'm gonna cry. These little packages are really cute, like £5 put together stuff of vintage cards and bits for scrapbooking. But I have the problem that it's just so special that I don't want to use it. These butterflies are kind of the reason I bought them. Oh, they're already falling apart. A really cute Christmas card. It's got some very faint pencil on the back there. A very cute birthday card. We have another set of, oh my gosh, get away. Why are there tarot cards in here? Absolutely not. That is not okay. Right, these are not vintage. I don't know what they are. They look like tarot cards. I do not mess with that. Today I have actually just been being creative with my job. So I've been making social media stuff, videos and different things on Canva. That's been really fun. And I just popped to the range because I needed a box to store my beads in, and I needed string and some wire, and obviously I couldn't help but also buy a load of other stuff, because that's just me. If I go to the craft section at the range, I'm always going to buy more than what I intended. But I got some really cute stuff. And now the problem is that the shelf in my living room that has all the space for creative stuff is full. So I'm going to have to empty the shelf above it and also rearrange that, because my bestie and I are always doing scrapbooking and different things, and that's basically a little craft corner in the lounge, but I need to make more space. So far I'm feeling pretty good about this creative challenge. Honestly, there have been days where I've done like 3 or 4 things. Like yesterday was Sunday, I was just gonna do 1 thing, and then I did like 4 things because I had more time. And then there's other days where I've been working and stuff, and the only thing that I can get around to doing is like making a nice meal or something. But honestly, I think like also just cooking and baking, and that's all part of it. So yeah, I'm just being creative in many ways. And honestly, I haven't done much of the stuff that I wrote down on the list, because at the end of the day, if we give ourselves a challenge to do something creative every day, we end up being creative in the ways that we're creative. We think creatively and outside of the box. Oh, okay, let me do this today. I feel like doing this today. Like making a mobile out of disco balls was not on my, well, I've wanted to do that for ages, but it wasn't on the list. I'm really enjoying doing stuff with my hands. That is like being one of the best things about this creative challenge so far. So I'm giving myself grace because I don't always have time, but this month is quite empty and free of any other jobs, which is a bit weird. it's a bit weird because usually in August I have weddings and weddings and weddings and weddings and other shoots. So it's just a different... Oh God, go away. It's just a different season for me right now. I hate using that word like, it's the season in my life, but it is. This is the season that I'm in my life. So I'm just embracing it. I get to be here in my parents' garden, which is my garden. It is my garden because my parents don't live here anymore. But I'm looking after everything and I love it. I love it so much, and I'm learning so much about homemaking, about being thrifty, about saving money in so many ways. I looked for a rose trellis the other day online, and there was one for like £50 from B&Q, and I thought, I have string and I have wood, I can make something that's going to hold my rose up. Like, that's the beauty of creativity, is we get to be thrifty and we get to save money along the way. I have just made the executive decision that I'm not going to film this process because it will stress me out, because I love organizing, but filming an organization process I think takes away from how I feel when I do it, because I'm not fully focused on it. It's not even going to take that long. I just need to put some beads in a box and move some things around here, and maybe I can actually get around to creating something tonight. Maybe I'll just also carry on with my paint by numbers, because honestly, paint by numbers, I started this almost 2 weeks ago, so I'm just going to carry on with this because there's still so many gaps, and it's quite a therapeutic activity to do on an evening like tonight where I can't be asked to do anything. It is day 12, August 12th, and I am going to go blackberry picking today. It is going to be extremely hot today, so I'm going to go up the road where there are some blackberries and see what I can find before it gets too unbearable outside. And the rest of the day I've got loads of other stuff to get done, but I'm quite excited to just go and pick some blackberries and spend some time with the birds in the trees. I got all of these blackberries.
No, neither.
I think maybe 1.5, 2. Let's see. Whoa, whoa! The bowl's falling off the scales. Woo! You win. Actually, wait. I think I might win.
What is it?
It's like 1.6.
Oh, nice.
1.7? Oh my gosh. It's just so addictive, I couldn't stop. That hour in the sun at 31 degrees at 10 a.m. was definitely enough for me for that day. And so the rest of the day, I actually finally finished the YouTube video that I last posted, which was the Scotland video. It was embarrassingly late, really, because I went there in February and I have been again since in July. But the vlog from February is now finally up. And here I was just struggling because I used to use CapCut for a while, and then I switched back to DaVinci Resolve because CapCut have the worst terms and conditions now. Nothing that you create belongs to you if you use CapCut, so I'm learning how to use DaVinci again and had a real struggle with the voiceovers. Then it was evening time and I'm pretty sure we watched TV and then I decided to make blackberry jam, so it got really late again, but it was so much fun making the jam. This was my second time making jam. I made cranberry jam at Christmas, which turned out so good. Well, it was cranberry sauce, I guess, but this is the first time that I'm doing it all properly. I had all the right jars. I made sure that the measurements were all correct. All it really is boiling up the blackberries and then adding some lemon and some sugar. And that's really all you need to do, and then boil it up until it's the right temperature. And you either have to use a, I guess, jam thermometer, is that what you call it? Which I don't have. So what I did was I put little plates in the freezer. They were then cold enough for me to put the jam on them, and if they made like a little crinkle when you ran your finger through it, that was the deciding factor to see if the jam was set enough. As always, it's like 9:30 and I really want to go to bed, but here I am making jam. Oh, story of my life. Well, currently the blackberries are still very much in blackberry form and not looking like jam at all. However, at first it was a little bit tricky. I had to then boil it again because it didn't really seem to work, and I was starting to get really frustrated because it was getting really late. And I don't know why this always happens to me when it's late, that I end up doing something that I've maybe not done before. But here we are making jam at night time when I want to be in bed. Yes. I did all of the sterilizing for the jars as well, and I had just the right amount of jars for the jam, and so we're going to be good for a good year probably on the jam front. It is August 13th and I am going to work in about an hour, so today I'm just going to do my paint by numbers because I'm working till 8 p.m. and I don't want to have a late night crafting situation. It is August 14th and once again I'm here in my kitchen because that is all I ever do. I love baking, and today I actually want to make my first apple strudel. I have made apple crumble and other apple things before, but not strudel. So I spent the entirety of the apple cutting, peeling and coring process listening to worship, praising God in my kitchen, which I absolutely love, and I don't do that enough. I often watch YouTube or I just listen to stuff or watch Netflix while I'm cooking, so this was a refreshing reminder that God meets us in whatever we're doing, and I just got to spend some time with him. And I love that about God. He meets us wherever we are, whether we are peeling apples in our kitchen or cleaning or working or reading our Bible and actively seeking his word. So that was really fun. I was a little bit daunted by the process of making the strudel because I've never made it before and neither has anybody else in my family, so I couldn't ask for any advice in that respect either. I was okay with the filling and everything, although I did forget to put the sugar in the middle, but that's fine, it was still sweet enough with the apple and the raisins. And I've never used phyllo pastry rolls before, so that was really daunting for me as well. And here I am just trying to figure it out. Then I was putting the butter onto the phyllo pastry sheets and just questioning what I was doing because I was just scared. Like, it's just crazy when you try a new recipe, you kind of don't know what you're doing. But at the same time, I mean, if you follow a recipe, it should be foolproof. It should just work. And I did follow this recipe, except missing out the sugar, obviously. And I was filling up this pastry, just double checking that I was getting it right because I was just a little bit confused as to how this works. But it actually turned out okay in the end. And so I think that's a lesson in trusting the process. I did then also forget to put sugar on the top of the strudel itself before putting it in the oven, so it got very crispy and very brown in the oven. But hey, for a first strudel, I mean, that's pretty good. It is pretty brown. I'm going to cut it in half because I'm not going to be able to transport it like this. So I'm going to cut it in the middle, try a piece now, see if it's okay. It's so crunchy. Oh, I think it's done though. Oh my days! It's so crispy though, like that top layer is ridiculously over. I think I put too much butter on it. It's falling apart. Do you cut it when it's cold maybe? I don't know. Okay, it completely fell apart. I think there's too much lemon juice in there. It's quite lemony. And zesty. I mean, it's fine. I just hope they like it. It's always a bit scary baking for other people. I forgot to put the sugar in the apple mix. I mean, it tastes fine, but that's why it tastes so zesty. Okay, so there's supposed to be sugar in the apple mix. And I think there's supposed to also be sugar on the top. which I can't do now because it's already been baked. Look at all those pretty beads. All these new beads that I bought, and I thought I'm going to make a phone charm. Little did I know that it would be an absolute test on my patience. I had the wrong type of thread in this video, which I now know, and I have now bought more, but I haven't had the chance to make it correctly. So I tried with the first type of string, and then I tried with another type of string, and then I tried with another type of string, and I was sat here all night. We watched half of The Parent Trap, we watched the whole of The Truman Show, and I watched an episode of The Office, and that just goes to show you how long I was struggling with this, just purely because I couldn't tie the knots properly. And obviously if you want a phone charm, you want it to hold your phone, you want it to not fall apart, and you want it to be strong, and I could not tie a knot in these plastic threads that I had, and I couldn't find any proper beading string or beading thread at the range, so I had to order it online from Hobbycraft, which, as I said, I now have. But as you can see, I tried my best. I was really happy with this design actually. I haven't made anything with beads in a really long time, so this was actually really fun. It was really nice for me to do something that I haven't done since I was about 10. But it was an absolute test of my patience, and I can't believe I even tried to use the lighter to when I think about it, it's like, obviously it didn't work because it's plastic, but I tried to use the lighter to like melt the knot, and then it just broke, and it was just ridiculous. So at the end here you can see that I had a lovely result, but actually what happened was I used the phone charm for a day, and I got back from the gym, and then I picked up my phone and the beads went all across the kitchen floor. And I'm really glad that it didn't happen in the gym, because that would have been so embarrassing. That just would have been so annoying. It is Saturday morning. Today is the 16th of August and I'm going to work at 12. I need to go to the gym. I'm just going to finish my paint by numbers. This thing has taken me so long. I mean, I haven't actually done it every day, but it's nice because it's something quick to do if I want to get some paint out, be a bit creative, but not do something that's going to be super time consuming. It's super quick and easy. So I'm going to do that this morning. I've literally got about half an hour. So it turns out I rushed my entire morning for no reason on this day, which was slightly annoying because I was 1 foot out of the door and they cancelled my waitressing shift, which is super annoying because this was one of the few days when I was actually looking forward to going to work. So, you know, their loss. But I ended up having a lot more time, so I completely finished my paint by numbers. I ended up sitting in the kitchen watching something for about 3 more hours doing the paint by numbers, and that was a lot better for my posture than what you can see here, because what the heck is going on with my neck? I don't want to have a hunchback when I'm 80, so that's why I'm going to the gym, but I need to also start really worrying about my posture more. Anyway, so I rushed that particular moment on the sofa for no reason, because I had the whole day ahead of me. On the 17th of August, I got back home really late, so I ended up literally only just doodling 2 little Highland cows. Because I've never drawn a Highland cow before. I'm sorry, a Highland coo. This is my first attempt at a Highland coo. It is day 19 of my creative challenge. The other day on Saturday, I finished my paint by numbers. So Yeah, it turned out all right, although you can really still see the number 10 under the white because number 10 is white. And so you can still see like some of the lines, but to be honest, from this distance, it looks pretty cool. I might actually frame it or hang it up somewhere. This whole room is just starting to fill up with art stuff, and honestly, I'm kind of loving it. I was going to redecorate, like take away these albums the other day, but I ended up not doing that because there's just so much nice space for these albums and they don't fit anywhere else. So I've left it like that. I'm struggling. Like I don't have a lot of physical energy right now. It is pretty messy over here. We've got this, which doesn't fit on this shelf anymore. We've got stuff lying around everywhere. I should probably vacuum before doing this, but I'll just vacuum later. I just want to see if this works. Put these over here, or maybe over here. Hey! Right, put the light on the top. Okay. Ta-da! Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. That is gonna be so helpful to put more stuff in there for our artwork. There is so much furniture already in this living room, but hey, it needs to be useful as well. On day 20, I was just trying to find out what I did because I don't have any footage of the day. It was a Wednesday, so now I looked back at what I was doing and it turns out I worked from 12 till 5, which means I probably went to the gym in the morning and then in the evening after work. From what I can tell by my chats on WhatsApp, I updated my website. So that was actually something that really needed doing. I don't have any footage of that, but I did update my website, which really needed doing. It is the 23rd of August and honestly I'm exhausted. I've just been working late and I've had late nights, and so yesterday I only got round to doing this. This is all I did. I painted this folder and I don't know what I'm going to do today, and I didn't do anything 2 days ago either. Hopefully next week I can do more. Maybe tomorrow I can actually redo the bracelet that broke because I finally bought the correct string. So, my gosh, talking is tiring right now. Nothing gets me more excited than the bagpipes. Like, oh my gosh. So while I was watching TV, I was actually making a card for a friend, and that's what I was doing with all the mess on the table there. I didn't film the process and I only took one photo of the card, but that is what I was doing while I was watching the Edinburgh military tattoo. By the time the 26th of August rolled around, I was actually just really tired and I wanted to do something that I could do over a couple of days, which is what I did with this embroidery project. It's another thing that I bought from the range, and honestly the instructions don't help me at all and the quality is not great, and I was struggling a bit even threading the thread onto the needle, but it's still a fun little project. I still haven't finished it to this day, but it was something really nice to be able to do. I haven't done embroidery potentially ever. Maybe I did it once in my childhood, so that was really nice. But I think I also didn't quite do it right. So we'll see how it turns out when it's finished. The 27th was another day full of work, so I finished my film on the way to work and got it developed. And in the evening, I just carried on with the embroidery because I was tired. And that's the reality. And that's the whole point of this video, is to show that some days I did the same thing, or some days I just literally didn't do anything, or I took a photo and that was what I did as a creative endeavour that day. I decided to make cinnamon rolls on the 28th. You know me, I just love being in the kitchen so much. I used this pastry for the cinnamon rolls, which I'm not going to do again because it could have just easily been homemade completely from scratch, and I have done that before, and it's so much nicer making cinnamon rolls completely from scratch. But this was super simple. It was a really quick one in the morning, which was good because I didn't have loads of time that day either, and so that was what I did. I just rolled up the pastry with the cinnamon and the sugar and then cut it up and put it in the oven. They were quite tiny before I put them in the oven, and I hoped that they would rise, but they didn't. So I don't know what I did wrong there, but they were very dinky, small, cute cinnamon rolls. However, they still tasted really good.
Interesting. He's really challenging Devil Wears Prada Nate for the title of Worst Anne Hathaway on-screen boyfriend.
It is August 30th today, and I can't believe that this month is already basically over. I'm quite tired. I had a really late night last night because work just people didn't want to leave the restaurant last night. People just did not want to leave. So I didn't get home until, I don't know, 11:15 or something like that. So I'm really tired. And today I'm going to London to take photos at a gig, which is gonna be so awesome. It's a Christian artist called Limmer Blaze, and one of the girls who's opening, Shireen, she wants me to take photos of her set. I'm gonna have such a great time, but I need to just like crash out today. I am probably gonna carry on editing this video, so I did that yesterday for 4.5 hours, which honestly I think counts as being creative. The actual editing of the YouTube video is the part that I struggle with the most. Usually it gets so tedious sometimes, as all videographers will be able to tell you, it is tough sometimes. Today I'll be taking photos, and tomorrow I'll probably be out and about again, and I'll probably just do some more of my embroidery. So yeah, the last couple days I haven't started any new projects or anything, but I think that's okay. I did quite a lot of fun stuff this month. I did so much fun stuff this month. Oh my goodness. I baked so much stuff. I made so much stuff in my kitchen, which was super fun. I feel like this video had like a really good mix of stuff in the kitchen and stuff like on paper with mixed media and stuff. And obviously I could have done so much more, but hey, I wanted to just go with the flow. I wanted to just be creative with that too. This month was so nice because I think I did stop comparing myself so much to other people online. I definitely still went on Instagram. I had like one weekend where I didn't go on Instagram because I was jealous of all my friends being at a certain festival that I couldn't go to. In general, I was still on social media and I was still scrolling, but just a lot less, and I felt like my creativity came back for sure. I think also I need to remember that I am a goal-oriented person, and so if I tell myself, hey, I'm gonna do like a 30-day, 31-day challenge, then I will do it. If I tell myself, it's the same thing with like, if I tell myself I'm gonna be sober for an amount of time, I'll do it, and I feel like I can hold myself accountable, but also I have people around me who can hold me accountable. So it was really cool that like I had people around me who were like, how's your creative challenge going? What are you doing today? But then also I think I really learned that there's grace, and there are just times when you don't have time, right? If I was working a 9 to 5, it would have looked so different, because I would have still had to go to the gym, make food. I probably wouldn't have had nearly as much time, and I may have just had to do a challenge of like doing one creative thing a week. So I'm really blessed and privileged, and I know that I got to just do something every day. I've practiced my self-discipline, I've practiced accountability with myself, and that's been really good as well. And I think my eyes are just more open to how creative we can be with everything that we do. Crazy. Huh. Come to London with me to photograph a concert at the Roundhouse. This was the Young and Chosen concert hosted by Limmer Blaze, and I got to be there for Shireen, and we had the most amazing time taking photos behind the scenes, getting ready, praying together. I got to meet so many other amazing artists. Filling London's Roundhouse with worship was so amazing, and I felt so blessed that I'm part of this community. And I got to hear some of my favourite songs by the artists themselves. And I met Israel Houghton as well, and Anatolia. And we ended the night in worship. As you can see, I was pretty tired, and I was so glad I brought my makeup wipes with me. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that it gave you some inspiration. I hope that you stop doom scrolling and wasting your life like me, because life is so beautiful and we only have the one, and I don't want any of you guys to go through your 20s and just realize that you've blinked and you missed it. So, God bless. Until next time, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on the notifications so you don't miss another video.